Okay, so this is going to be a very brief outline of an example of what to do for your narrated PowerPoint. The first thing to bear in mind is that the PowerPoint slide itself is actually just there for you. We will not be marking the PowerPoint slide. The PowerPoint slide is so that you can attach a narration. So the words that go on the slide are just for you, and they're really just to help you to actually remember what it is that you want to say in your 2 minutes. There must be at least 20 words on the slide, otherwise you won't be able to upload it, turn it in. Now, in terms of what you say in the 2 minutes, you can take one or maybe two decisions that were made, and you are simply really reviewing those, particularly if maybe there was some disagreement within the team, or indeed it was a decision that you disagreed with yourself. And the idea is to explain why the original decision was made, why you think a better decision could have been made, what that better decision was, and then your justification for it. So, for example, um, one of the things that often occurs is that students try and achieve competitive advantage by presenting a high quality product, but at a lower price than competitors. It's very easy to assume that the simplest way to beat our competitors is to offer a lower price. But of course, within any product category, there's only really going to be one organization that is based around price. And very obviously, that's also then going to relate to quality. Now, for certain product categories, that matters maybe slightly less, or maybe the reason for it mattering has to do with as much to do with our perception of things as opposed to the actual quality that's involved. So one example might be toothbrushes. Now, there are lots and lots of different toothbrushes available to you. There might be lots of different reasons for choosing one toothbrush over another. But you can buy a toothbrush for as little as 25 pence. Um, you can buy a toothbrush for £1. You can buy a toothbrush that costs maybe £2.50, £3.50. You can spend £30 on an electric toothbrush, or you can spend £120 on an electric toothbrush. So there's an enormous scope for range. And clearly, how much people spend on their toothbrush is going to depend on a number of different factors: how important cleaning their teeth is to them, their belief in the extra value that's provided, say an electric toothbrush over a non-electric one. And therefore, pricing in itself is not going to be necessarily an important factor, other than for those people who are buying the ones that are the very cheapest. And maybe that's out of necessity. Maybe they genuinely can't afford to pay more, or maybe they just don't really care that much. Maybe they think all the other products are simply overhyped. And then actually the difference between a 25 pence toothbrush and a £2.50 toothbrush is simply not enough to warrant the extra cost. Now, if your business is trying to promote itself as a very high quality or maybe a specialist provider, it wouldn't be particularly reasonable to then focus on price. Price is not going to be a particularly motivating factor if what you're actually selling to your customers is quality or a specialism that simply isn't available elsewhere, as long as that specialism represents a benefit to your customers. So if the decision that you made with regards to price was based around something like psychological pricing, where again the actual price that's given is still going to be a factor in people's minds, or maybe it is actually cost plus pricing. So in other words, you're looking at how much it costs to actually make your product, or you've suggested that it's competitive pricing, but what you actually mean is that you're going to try and undercut a similar product in the marketplace, when actually you've focused on the quality of what you do or the specialism of what you do, then you may decide in retrospect that actually that wasn't the best way to go. And what you might have wanted to do was use something like demand-led pricing or a specialist pricing strategy. And in order to support this, you might give an example of an equivalent product within a different product category. So you can take pretty much any product category. It really should be an allied one. So if you're talking about one type of food, you might talk about another type of food, or one type of retailer, you might talk about another type of retailer, where you point out that your business is the equivalent of that business in that particular category, and therefore the pricing strategy which they seem to adopt would be the one that you would adopt as well. Now, clearly, you've got to do this concisely because you've only got 2 minutes to make your point. If you do have any further questions, then please feel free to email me and I'll try and clarify the situation for you or answer any questions that you have. Good luck.